Hey, gang! Welcome to Catania, Sicily. Catania is a beautiful city full of history at the foot of the famous volcano Mount Etna. Sicily is, of course, much more of a summer destination, but I spent 2 days there in December, and I would say even as a winter city break, it is worth it. So in this little video, I'll show you what I've done, what I've seen, what I've eaten, the few little snippets of local history that I've learned, and also hang in there till the end of the video because I'll show you the negatives as well. Catania is also known as the Black City because it is located at the foot of the volcano Mount Etna. And over the centuries it has snowed black ashes, literally volcano dust. And some of that volcano ash has been used in building materials, so some of the facades might look a bit dark. Catania is also full of history. It's a very old city. It dates back to at least 700 BC. And many different civilisations have invaded and made Catania their home, starting with the Greeks from Naxos, including the Arabs before the turn of the first millennium. And all those different civilizations have left some marks. That's why some refer to Sicily as the Museum of Europe. Some also refer to Sicily as the football, because when you look at Italy on a map, it looks like a boot with a football. In the heart of the old town, you'll find Piazza Duomo, with its famous elephant's fountain. The elephant has been sculpted with lava from Mount Etna. The elephant has become the symbol of Catania. You'll see elephants everywhere. In graffitis, in little bracelets, you could buy yourself a little bracelet made with lava with a little elephant. The origin of the elephant is actually still very mysterious today. Some say it came from a mythical magician that was traveling on an elephant. What we do know is that there was a famous cartographer in the 12th century. His name was Mohammed al-Drisi. He had created one of the most accurate maps of the Mediterranean, and he had put a few notes. And referring to Catania, he already recorded at the time that people seemed to worship a mysterious elephant. Now, one thing you have to see in Catania, it's the fish market. The products are so fresh that they still move. The market has been here for centuries, with very colorful products and characters. And those are still moving as well. You can literally see they've been fished the night before. Some of the traders are very loud. It's probably paradise for you if you are a chef. Well, maybe not if you are a vegan chef. You can also buy some street food, some products already cooked for you on the spot. You can find this amazing market just meters away from the Basilica Cathedral di Santa Agata. Quite a few churches and monuments in this city are dedicated to Saint Agata. According to legend, Agata was a very pious virgin. In 231 AD, she was from a noble family. There is a representation of her. When the Roman prefect Quintianus made amorous moves on her, she rejected him. Then he martyred her, he literally killed her, but things went bad for him. His horse kicked him into the river, and he was never seen again. Since that day, Agata is said to protect the city against enemies and against Mount Etna, the volcano. Right next to the basilica is Badia di Sant'Agata, another church, where you can go at the top. It costs €5 and the view is amazing. You get a fantastic view of Mount Etna. It is a bit of a climb into a skinny staircase, but it's not the hardest of the churches I've climbed, because there's quite a few stops along the way. To add to the legend of St. Agatha, apparently, through a bad eruption of Mount Etna that destroyed part of the city, some religious representation of St. Agatha survived. Now let's talk about food. There are a lot of amazing restaurants and street foods in Catania. Most of it is fairly affordable. One thing I was told you have to try is arancino. There are many different flavors. I went for the ragu and the classic. They are fried rice balls with filling inside. So in this one you have aubergine and a bit of meat. And this one was a bit cheesier. They are actually quite filling. Now, let's try. You'll also find a lot of items pistachio flavor, like this pistachio torta, or even pistachio liqueur. Another thing you have to try, it's granita alla mandarola e pistachio. So that's an almond granita. So it's a granita, it's not an ice cream. Or you could choose pistachio. There are a lot of items with pistachio here because they grow pistachio a lot in the area. So you're meant to have it with the brioche. Oops. Let's try again. So you're meant to have it with the brioche. There are a lot of places selling them, but this one was called Comi Ice Cafe. Now, if you feel a bit peckish, you have a lot of vending machines with classic items as well as alcohol. Yeah, you can get beer from the vending machine. I'm not sure how you prove that you are old enough. If you do. You can also get some medicines, look, from a vending machine on the street. And I was a bit surprised to find out you can also get a sex toy. For those occasions, when you really need a vibrator and you have to run to the vending machine. Or you can get cigarettes as well. And this vending machine here, I'm guessing there was a little issue. €70 for a coffee, it has to be a bug. And this was a cannolino. Right in the middle of the old town, you can find a Roman amphitheater dating back to the 1st century. Well, they built it in different stages, and after the 5th century it got abandoned and partially covered with buildings. This is Castle Ursino, Bear Castle. It dates back to the 13th century. It was once a royal castle for the Kingdom of Sicily, and it was then the site of the Sicilian Parliament. Now it is a museum. It cost about €11 to visit. They have quite a few Greeks and Roman antiquities. That is thanks to the Benedictine monks that used to live next door. They used to collect those items. This is part of the former Jewish district. It is said there used to be a well around here, the Gamazita well. Gamazita was said to be a young girl engaged to a civilian Sicilian man when a French soldier, a Norman, assaulted her, so to avoid being tarnished, she jumped into the well. Gamazita is a legend, but the underground river is very real. This is the Amenano fountain, and the water running through it's from the Amenano river. That river was once covered by the lava after a bad eruption of Mount Etna, and is now running underground. You can go and see it if you go into the restaurant Aputia dello Stelo. You can literally dine next to the underground river. It was not open when I visited, but the staff is really nice and they let me go down to see the river. On their menu you'll find another very typical Sicilian dish, spaghetti with sea urchins. I have not had a chance to try, but I hear that the sea urchins are a bit controversial with the politics in Sicily at the moment, because they have been overfished. And they're actually slowly disappearing from the Sicilian coast. The government is suggesting a 3-year ban on urchin fishing, but it doesn't go down well with the fishermen, because it's such a staple of Sicilian cuisine. Catania does seem to wake up in the evening. Oh, and by the way, a lot of businesses, museums and attractions, they seem to have a siesta time, a bit like in Spain. So if you're planning any visits between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., you might want to check that the attraction is actually open at that time. The city is beautiful in the evening, and of course there are a lot of amazing restaurants. In terms of foods grown locally, you'll also see a lot of artichokes everywhere. Apparently, because of that lava dust, the soils around Catania are very fertile. There are a lot of pistachio plantations, of course, and lemon. The Sicilian lemons have been exported all over the globe for centuries. This remarkable painted ceiling, it's actually in my hostel. Apparently it used to be a noble's home from the 16th century. And that one here is from my dorms. I stayed in a 8-bed dorms, but it wasn't very busy, so there were not 8 busy beds there. This is via Etna. Straight ahead you can see the Etna volcano there. The northern part of the city, up via Etna and Corso d'Italia, it's a little bit more upper class than the south, or at least it seems to be. The famous Italian composer Vincenzo Bellini was from Catania, and he's got a beautiful park named after him. That's where we're heading to now. Oopsie, it looks like this one was stolen. It happens everywhere, people stealing the bronze statues to sell the bronze. There are, of course, a lot of beautiful churches in Catania, but let's go and take a look at a church that has a facade that looks a little bit surrealist, really. This is the Monastery of St. Nicholas Arena. It was a Benedictine establishment, created in 1558. The facade of the church is very original because they started the construction in 1687, and in 1693 there was a massive earthquake here in Catania. That broke a lot of the monastery, and most of the monks actually died. The facade was never finished after that. Today the building belongs to the University of Catania. I went to take a look around. It's quite cool because the gardens have a lava wall, really. And also because there's a lot of cats. I wish there were that many cats in my uni. I just sneaked in like if I was a student, but I hear they also do run some guided tours if that takes you fancy. Now, if you have a bit of spare time and you want to go and explore the coast outside of the city, you can go to Acci Castle with a bus for €1. Make sure you do validated though, so you need to pop it into the machine to get that little stamp at the top. The bus ride to Acci Tresa is about an hour, and the coastline is beautiful. The rock formations on the coastline are made out of lava. And they are actually part of the Greek mythology in Homer's Odyssey. According to the mythology, those sea stacks have been created by Cyclops. They were really angry at Polyphemus after he stuck a stick in one of the Cyclops' eyes. And while you are there, you can go and visit Acci Castle. It is a Norman castle. Because yes, the Normans from Normandy, they came all the way down here. They took Sicily from the Arabs. The Norman responsible for taking Sicily was Roger Hauteville, and it's actually quite a romantic story. Back in Normandy, Roger was a nobody, and he was in love with Judith. Now, Judith's dad was friends with high society. He was quite close to the Duke of Normandy, the famous William the Conqueror. And he did not want his daughter Judith to have anything to do with Roger. He couldn't even pay a dowry. So to impress his father-in-law and to be able to marry his loved one, Roger went to take Sicily. His brother Robert had already taken part of Italy, Calabria was already conquered, and after Robert died, Roger was in charge of all southern Italy, really. So he's responsible for united a lot of southern Italy, and he was able to marry Judith. That's probably one of the very few love marriages of medieval Europe. And the Normans, staying fairly good friends with the Arabs after that, they also allowed everyone in Sicily to live their own religion. Roger became the great Count of Sicily, and Sicily was under the Normans for a while. So this little Norman castle is quite well preserved, and you can go and visit for only €3. And from the top you have a lovely view. Now let's talk about the downside of Catania. Some part of the city, especially towards the south, are very dirty and quite run down. I ended up going into this ghost shopping center. There was nothing there. The beach could be very nice, but at the back of the beach you have all those ruins, all those buildings that clearly look like they've not been used since the 90s or something. I understand it's the winter and the beaches don't look as attractive in the winter, but still, the beach was full of plastic. A lot of bottles left there and rubbish everywhere, really. It is a shame because you have a beautiful view of Mount Etna at the back. I know sadly we can't control people's behavior dumping things on the beach, but this one was particularly dirty. Also, Catania, outside of the city center, is not great for a walk. A lot of streets do not have a pavement at all, no sidewalks. I tried walking down from the airport because it's only 50 minutes walk. Well, that was a particularly dangerous walk because there was just no pavement, so I ended up in the middle of the roads. And yes, some part of the city are a little bit run down. I understand every city have a few areas that are not as nice, but yeah, this one looked a little bit ruined, to be honest. There was quite a lot of rubbish on the streets, and bed mattresses and stuff like that could be collected. Anyway, don't let that scare you. Once you reach the city center, it is radiant. Now, I know through my subscribers I have quite a few cemetery enthusiasts. So I know it might be slightly unusual for a travel vlog, but I went and filmed a few shots from the cemetery. El Cementerio Monumentale de Catania. And monumental it is. Some of those mausoleums were larger than my room. The cemetery is so big that they have a bus stop inside the cemetery. Now, I hope you enjoyed that little video. If you happen to be a local watching this video and you have any suggestions of places to go, places to visit, stuff I've missed in this video, feel free to pop them in the comment. That might help some future travelers. And if any of you wanted to see a bit more of me, make sure you check out my live section. Most of what I do on YouTube is actually live streaming, so make sure you check this out. Bye!